Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be talking about what I consider to be standard Spirit Island. Now, before I dig deep, I just want to preface this video and say that there's no correct way to play the game. If you like playing with 5 players, or if you like playing with 1 player, or if you like playing with scenarios or not scenarios, it doesn't matter. You should play the game however you like, and if you enjoy playing it that way, then that's great, and I'm happy for you. Um, but I tend to get this question a lot on my videos, or people ask me over Discord or on the forums. They ask me, what do I consider to be standard Spirit Island? So that's what we're going to get into right now. So, starting off, looking at the number of players, I don't consider solo games to be standard Spirit Island. And the main reason is there's a lot of spirits in the game that have these another effects, and that is a power card that targets another spirit. Now, in multiplayer, these cards cannot be played on yourself. But when you're playing in solo, you can. Now, when these another cards are developed, they're developed from the perspective of a multiplayer standpoint. They they allow them to be used in solo because they don't want the card to feel bad in a solo scenario. So that's why they enable that, but they're designed from a multiplayer perspective. Of course, they do consider solo parts as well. That's part of it. But it's mainly a multiplayer focused card. So when you play in solo, those effects are just additive to the spirits kit. And it can be um, very dangerous. You look at story and season, right? That is extremely powerful on a spirit like Hearth Vigil. Or another example would have been, like I showed you, Furious Might on Teeth. Or another example would be Gift of Searing Heat on Rising Heat. So there's a lot of these another cards that when you're playing solo, they become much, much better for that spirit. So that's why I consider standard Spirit Island at least 2 players. Now, the next thing is I consider standard Spirit Island to always include an adversary, and that adversary has to be level 6. I'm not talking about doubles. I think doubles exceeds the scope of standard Spirit Island. And this is something that I picked up when we were playtesting. We playtested mainly for level 6. We did focus a little bit on double adversaries, but that was pretty minimal. Um, and when I say we, I meant my group in particular focused on level 6. I know there's a lot of other groups that focused on different levels of difficulty. Um, but that's just what I focused on. The reason why I think there has to be an adversary is because for me, I find the game to be too simple without an adversary. There's just not enough going on, and an adversary spices up the game. It includes a lot of flavor and creates a lot of excitement. And that's why I also raise the difficulty to level 6. I don't extend beyond level 6 because once again I think that that's beyond the scope of a standard game. Scenarios, I prefer to not play with scenarios, and that's because scenarios tend to add a lot of extra rules to the game, and those extra rules can overcomplicate things. I know I just said I love adding adversaries because they add to the rule set, and adding a scenario on top of that for a lot of players could be too much cognitive load. Um, Most players are not crazy about the game like I am, so they haven't played it 1,000 times or whatever. So when they pick up a spirit, that might be one of their first times playing the spirit. Now they may have played like Precious Six a couple times, but now if they're playing Relentless Gaze and that's their first game with Relentless Gaze against Precious Six, it may be too difficult for them to also now track. We're now going to be playing with Powers Lost Forgotten or Powers Long Forgotten with all of these extra possible rules that can be thrown into it. So I tend to keep scenarios out of newer player games and then also into more experienced games as well. Now, that doesn't mean scenarios aren't fun. I have played a lot of games with scenarios and have enjoyed them. Some of my favorite games would be I love Powers Long Forgotten. I love Great River. I love Theft. Um, I played Destiny Unfolds, and this was really fun as well. It flips the game upside down, and just to me, I don't consider it to be standard play. Looking at the board layout, I always pick random base boards. I never choose thematic, and the reason for that is let's start game to show you is this the thematic boards aren't balanced at all. And if you're looking here, oh god, so well, there's a couple reasons why I don't do thematic. The first is I'm colorblind. So actually seeing what's going on these boards is complete mess. I can't seem to make out the borders of lands, and I don't know what's a wetland. I don't know what's considered a jungle. And it's very challenging for me to see the cutoffs on stuff. So that's one of the reasons. But the other reason is the the piece layout on different boards varies. So unless I'm playing with all six boards, I'm not going to have like I would say in quotes a balanced board. For instance, let's take a look at this northeast board here. Oh gosh, I just can't see. This is what I get. Where is here? Let's look at southwest here. And I believe I don't even know where the board cutout is. I believe it's due here. Southwest land 4 and land 5. Now, if I'm playing a Beast Spirit on the southwest board, I have access to both lands with beasts. That is increasing my potential if I'm playing on this board. And that's relative to the other boards. Now, this isn't as simple this isn't as uh like some spirits have better boards than others, but starting with several extra beasts, actually you start with 3 extra beasts. That's just so absurd to be able to start with that. Now, if I play, let's say, this board up here on the northwest, I don't have a beast. It doesn't look like I do. So, like, it's extremely swingy and it's not consistent. And as you guys know, I'm all about consistency. If I'm picking this northwest board, I don't have beasts. I do get some I don't know why there's vitality here, but I I don't have a beast if I'm up on this northwest, but then I have 3 if I'm on the southwest. And there's also Dahan discrepancies across the boards. Yes, like southwest board, I only have 2 Dahan. So if I'm playing like Thunder Speaker, like that's going to be an absolute mess. And maybe I might be wrong if I can reload the board again to see the Dahan layout here, but it looks like there's only 2 here. And I believe on some of the other boards, there's a lot more. So unless you're playing with all 6 boards, you're not going to be able to pick the best board for your spirit. And then randomizing like this board, Southwest, is going to give you a huge disadvantage. Looking at the rest of the selection menu, like I said, the difficulty doesn't matter. I'm always just maximizing a single level 6 adversary. I'm not considering double adversaries to be standard of play. I think playing with all expansions is necessary, including events. Events is essential for proper games. In addition, I think the entire minor and major power deck are necessary. That includes cards from all of the expansions because that is going to balance out the elements to the right amount. If you're playing with just the base game cards, or if you're playing with just base game and nature and the branch and claw, there may be a there may be an imbalance between the elements or the effects. Once again, I'm not telling players how to play their game. Play the game however you enjoy to play it. This is just answering that question of is what do I consider to be standard Spirit Island? If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.